Now you should be more comfortable with countries and the articles that come before, that is the le or the la or the les for les États-Unis or les Pays-Bas for the Netherlands. Now it's time to start learning prepositions, as well as a few new verbs to talk about where we come from. You see in these sentences an example of verbs like habiter, to live in. Claire habite au Canada, à Montréal. See the difference? Montréal is a city. All cities use just a, accent grave. But countries, depending on whether it's the le or the la, the masculine or the feminine, have two different distinct prepositions that you use to talk about going to these countries or living in these countries or coming from these countries. Now, in English, we would say he lives in Canada or he's going to Canada. At least in one aspect, it's a little simpler in French. You just have to learn one preposition. For the masculine, au. For a feminine country, or a country that begins with a vowel. That's a big exception there. For a feminine country, or a country beginning with a vowel, it's en, as in en. So Claire habite au Canada. Elle n'habite pas en France. L'oncle Michel habite en France. N'est-ce pas? Abia habite au Canada. La famille d'Abia habite en Côte d'Ivoire. So, the preposition a is used with what? Cities. En is used with countries. Feminine countries or masculine countries that begin with an I. For example, Iran, Iran, en Iran, or Iraq, Iraq, en Iraq, or en Afghanistan. The preposition au, that's au, but it sounds like an O, is used with masculine countries. And what about plural countries? You just take this O, A, U, and you add an X. Here's some examples that they give you in the book. J'étudie au Canada. Nous allons au Maroc. Pierre habite en France. Anne va en Espagne. So allons to go. Nous allons au Maroc. Anne va en Espagne. Anne is going or goes to Spain. Les Tremblay habitent aux États-Unis. Nous retournons aux États-Unis. So that's for if you're going to. What about if you're coming from? Then you use either du, du, de, or d apostrophe, n'est-ce pas? The du being before a masculine, the de being before a feminine country like France. Je suis de France. Elle est de France. Or des apostrophe for any country, masculine or feminine, if it begins with a vowel. Je suis d'Asie. I am from Asia. Je suis d'Irak. I am from Iraq. And then plural is des, des États-Unis. The same goes for states and provinces. In the US, throughout France, you would say en for feminine, en Californie, and you would say en for a province, and you would say AU for a masculine province, AU for a masculine state. Actually, this book leaves one thing out. For a masculine state, you would say dans le. I don't think you need to know that for the purpose of your activities. I don't think they put you into a situation, but in general you would say dans le, like j'habite dans le New Jersey, j'habite dans le Maryland, n'est-ce pas? Je suis du New Jersey, je suis du Maryland. There are some exceptions as well for Ohio. Je suis dans l'Ohio or de l'Ohio. It's a strange exception. But we'll go over this in class again. I have a really good sheet with lots of exceptions. Before I show you the verbs for this part of the grammar, I just want to emphasize that a lot of these activities continue to help you learn the different countries and cities and to practice, and they hold your hands. So as you walk through the activities, it really helps to walk you through. For example, you start here, je vais au, and then you have to decide, which is the masculine country. It helps just to go through slowly. The same for here. D'où viennent-ils? Where do they come from? Je vous présente Coralie. Elle vient de, So with de, I'm looking for probably a feminine country. It wouldn't be du Mexique. But it couldn't be de Irlande. Irlande is feminine, but it begins with a vowel. So I would say de apostrophe. The answer is B. Because you also say de, to come from, for cities. And I love this activity. Dans quelle ville, in which city can you find the following things? On trouve la meilleure pizza. So here it's just cities, so you're using a. And then you go on with the same type of idea, but this time with countries. Il y a beaucoup d'écologistes, and then you decide a country. A lot of these are just memory games, playing games. But slowly but surely you're going to be learning these new vocabulary words, essentially countries of the world in French, and the prepositions you use with them. Towards the end of the chapter, you'll see a little bit more about this venir. What is this venir? Let me go back. Venir, very similar, is devenir, is the word for to come. And you use it not only to say, oh, I'm coming, je viens, but you also use it to say, I come from. Donc, here's the conjugation. Je viens, tu viens, il, elle vient, nous venons, vous venez, ils viennent, je deviens, tu deviens, il devient, nous devenons, vous devenez, ils deviennent. So, voilà. You see the similarity. Donc, I could say, je viens des États-Unis, or je viens du New Jersey. Il vient de l'État de Washington. Elle vient de Californie, to come from. In the book, they give you an example. Elsa vient du Maroc. Vous venez dîner ce soir? Here we have a phrase with two verbs. Are you coming to dinner? Vous venez dîner? They give you another venir. This is different. This is a way of talking about the recent past. Don't worry about that. We're going to do this in class tomorrow, in class on Tuesday together. So don't worry about venir de. Just focus on getting down these new countries, these new cities as well, these new prepositions, and the new verb, venir. You should also watch the tutorial by clicking here. Voilà. It's on irregular verbs, venir, dire.
Today, we're going to talk about the...
Voilà. Just to give yourself a little introduction. You'll also be seeing aller. We skipped over chapter 2, so we skipped over learning aller. Just to go over aller. Je vais is I go. Tu vas, you go. Il va, he goes. Nous allons, vous allez. Ils vont. You may recognize it from time to time. You always use a preposition after going. So you may see it, like for example here, nous allons en Europe. Voilà. It's very simple. Bon travail. Stick to the exercises. Enjoy the work. You can also use the Blackboard links to help you with your geography lessons. I've also put up some links to a radio broadcast of the news from November 7th on RFI. And finally, I will be putting up this slideshow, which you've learned enough to understand the first slides on nos origines. Voilà. This just reviews the different prepositions that you use for different countries, for coming and going. It also gives you examples, as well as venir and devenir. But that's in your book anyway. Voilà. Bon travail. Bonne fin de semaine.